Okay, so for today's topic, we will talk about the application of laws of motion. So we're going to review ulit yung mga laws of motion, and then we will uh, we will solve problems with regards to the applications of these laws. So let's review them first. The concepts of force, Newton's first law, force and mass, Newton's second law, and Newton's third law. And then we will talk about examples. So as discussed, the simplified version or the simplified explanation of force is a push or a pull, but it's more than that. Okay, it's a continued uh, push or pull. So we talked about the four fundamental uh, forces of nature, and then we also categorize yung contact and non-contact forces. So another term for that are field forces or action at a distance forces. In solving problems with regards to force, we will apply vectors. So may angles yan. We will also include the concept of trigonometry to get the components of the vector along the x and y axis. So the vector quantity has always a magnitude and direction, and it may be contact force or a action at a distance force. So another term for non-contact forces. So like magnets or gravity. Okay, so ano ba yung examples dito yan? So gravity is an example of action at a distance forces. You have spring, this is contact forces. Tension is a contact force. And then the charge between two objects and attraction. So that is action at a distance force. Okay, so the torque and torque is contact forces, and you have magnetism. So this is non-contact or action at a distance force. Okay, the first law, or otherwise called the first law or the law of inertia, the statement is an object at rest tends to stay at rest, and an object in motion tends to stay in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Okay, so try ko i-open yung I'll try to use our experiment last time in discussing this. Open ko lang. So, Okay, so an object tends to stay at rest or in motion unless acted upon by an external force. So let's put the friction to 0. Okay, so this object has mass. So the property of an object that has mass is its inertia. So it's the natural state of things. So if it's staying at rest, it will remain at rest. Okay. So if a force is applied, so 68 newtons yan. So it should accelerate, no? Dapat papakita yan. Set ko. So let's apply force. So kita natin sa speedometer, the speed steadily increases. So therefore, the object is accelerating. Okay? So may applied force siya. So pag binitawan ko, so the object will maintain the speed. Okay? So wala ng force na, since nawala ng contact dun sa tumutulak, then this object will have a uh, constant speed. So tingnan niyo yung speedometer, hindi nagbabago. So bakit in real life hindi nangyari yan? Siyempre kasi may friction. So kahit ice yan, sa totoong buhay, kahit ice may friction. Pero in a frictionless plane, tuloy-tuloy dapat yung motion yan. Okay? So that's the uh, tendency of the object to remain in constant velocity. Unless may isang counteracting force. Okay, so notice yung speed. So, pumagal siya, nag-decelerate siya, then slowly, ay, sorry, binapitawan ko. So, dapat, kung velocity yan, negative na yung velocity. Since speed is the magnitude of velocity, uh, makikita natin tumataas yung speed. Okay? So, nag-accelerate pa rin siya. So, sa first law of motion, if we look at the forces that are acting on something that is not moving, it does not mean na walang forces that are acting on it, no? So kung gagawa tayo ng free body diagram, so let's create this box as a point, no? So kaya tayo gagawa ng free body diagram. Okay, just pretend na sa gitna siya. So, yan, free body diagram. Okay? So, trinate natin tong box to sa point in the center of X and Y axis, no? And then we figure out ano mga forces that are acting upon it. So what are the forces do you think are acting on this crate? Hello. So what are the forces that are acting on this crate? So meron kang sum of forces along pwede mo isum yung forces. Saan ba yung sum? Forces along X for a object that has constant velocity or at rest. So forces along X should be equal to 0. Okay? So kung maraming forces yan, meron tayong tinatawag na summation. Okay? So ito yung isa-sum natin lahat ng forces. Okay. So itong symbol na summation. Ah, so, sira yung mouse. Ano ba yan? Erase. Ito na lang para malaki. Summation. Yan. So para siya inverted M. Tinabing M. So summation, no? Alam niyo na yung suma. So summation of forces along X is equal to 0. So as you observe, no, para namang wala naman yatang force that are acting along the x-axis. And then the same thing along y. So the summation of forces along y is the same. Summation of force along y is equal to 0 also. Since hindi siya gumagalaw. So ayan yung application ng first law. So if something is not moving or is in constant velocity, the summation of forces along x and along y is equal to 0. So, tama ba na walang forces that are acting on it? Hello guys, gising pa ba tayo? Hello? Mukhang nasa beach na kayo lahat ah. Malakas ba hangin? Di ako naririnig. Okay, so sa tingin nyo ba walang force acting on this crate?
I think wala, sir.
Wala. Meron.
Normal
Normal
force.
force, sir.
So meron kang normal force and what else?
Gravity po.
Yun, so you have normal force and gravity. Teka, bakit nag-blank? So meron kang along X wala, pero along Y meron. So obviously meron kang force pababa. So may bigat yung object. Ibahin natin yung kulay para mas kita. So may force ka pababa. So that is equal to your weight or force due to gravity. Okay? And then, so, para hindi siya lumubog, no, tinutulak siya pabalik ah, ng surface, no? So, kasama sa application nito yung third law. So, force comes in pairs. So, in order for the crate not to sink or not to uh, penetrate the surface, then dapat nagpo-push yung surface against that. So, there you have a normal force. Okay, so ibahin ko lang yung kulay. Gawin natin green arrow. So, nag-apply ka ng force pabalik. So, this is your normal force. Or sometimes is nasulat as N. Okay. So, yung dalawang ano niyan, since ang rule natin, no, yung summation of forces along the y-axis, it will be 0. So, ibig sabihin, yung dalawang forces are equal to each other. So, they will be equal to 0. So, since ang standard natin is dito lang y, no? So, 0 yung forces. Tapos, take note na positive yung pataas na. So, normal force natin is positive. Tapos, yung weight natin will be negative. So, ayan yung summation of forces along y. So, may normal force ka, tapos meron kang weight. Okay? So, yan yung mga forces. So, kahit mag-apply ako ng initial force dito, once na gumagalaw siya, okay, once na gumagalaw na siya, hindi na 0 yung along x. Okay? Pero once bumitaw siya, magiging 0 ulit. So, even if the crate is moving, equal na uli yung force since hindi naman continuous yung tulak niya. Pero nung initial na tinulak niya, nagkaroon ka ng force na nagbigay sa kanya ng velocity. Pero once bumitaw, the velocity is constant. Okay? So under this condition, unless there is another force that is acting on it, it will not change its velocity. Okay? So unless na merong force na ma-apply doon. Tapos otherwise, it will change velocity and direction. Okay? So yan yung application ng Newton's first law of motion. So paano kung may friction tayo? Okay, sabihin natin nagbigay tayo ng friction. So this time, let's talk about static friction. Ay, maubos na pala yung oras. Join na lang kayo ulit.